What's up, guys? I'm Chris Spags here, back with another Four Corners video for today's 15-game MLB main slate, courtesy of Osmo.com. Now, weirdly, for that slate yesterday, we set a viewership record for the Four Corners video, so thank you guys for all tuning in on a day in which we had so little to talk about. But now we have a ton to talk about today. We also have the special giveaways I'm going to have for you guys moving forward, so like this video and comment your double dong pick down below. If you are one of the people who is correct, I'm going to pick it out random if multiple people are correct, but one of you guys will win a special Osmo Plus premium membership at Osmo.com if you get that pick correctly. So right now, like this video, help me keep the momentum of this video going, and comment your double dong pick down below. On to our usual first corner, the pitchers on today's slate, and Steven Strasburg going against the Chicago White Sox will be a top option today. He gets 3.1 implied runs against him, which is a slate low, and he's expected to be the number one known pitcher on DraftKings with 30%, and he'll be number 2 on FanDuel and Yahoo with 18% and 40% respectively. The White Sox strike out at a 26.4% rate versus right-hand pitching, while Strasburg's 14.6% swing strike rate and 11.2 Ks per nine have been extremely high level, especially when paired with his .99 whip at 2.2% on run rate. He's also given up just 27% hard contact, so it's really looking good across the board here. I don't mind hedge stacks because if he gets blown up, the Washington bullpen is really bad, but I'm willing to pay up here for Strasburg. I think he's in a really nice spot. The White Sox strike out a good amount, and I'm not particularly worried about them because Strasburg's been very elite and also limiting damage well at a high level this year. Noah Syndergaard versus San Francisco should also be popular today with 3.2 implied runs against him. He's going to be the top owned guy on FanDuel at 23%, and he'll be just behind Strasburg on DraftKings and Yahoo. Syndergaard's price is extremely reasonable everywhere given the matchup going against the San Francisco team was an 80 WRC plus versus right-hand pitching on the year, but his strikeout stuff has also been under an elite level with an 11.7% swing strike rate and just 9.2 Ks per nine. The price for Syndergaard is really what would make me land here. I'm not terribly impressed by him in general, at least in terms of being an ace compared to the guys like Strasburg, Snell, who we'll talk about later in the video. So I like Syndergaard for the price reasons. If you want to get away from him, I totally understand it because he really hasn't shown the upside of some of these other elite pitchers on the slate. And Madison Bumgarner at the Mets completes our trio of high-owned pitching here. Gets 3.8 implied runs against him, and Bumgarner's going to be the top-owned guy on Yahoo with 41%. It'll be right alongside Syndergaard and Strasburg on FanDuel and DK. The Mets' aggregate K rate of 30.3% versus left-hand pitching is interesting given that Bumgarner's got a decent price and 9 Ks per nine, but the 45.3% hard contact that Bumgarner allows can make him a nice spot to leverage against with guys like Pete Alonso, Michael Conforto, and Wilson Ramos all over a 212 ISO. I think Bumgarner's the weakest of this trio here, and if I were going to go against one of the guys, it probably would be going against Madison Bumgarner. That doesn't take away from the fact he's at a decent price and a pretty good spot here versus the Mets, so if you wanted some exposure both ways, I think that totally makes sense. On to our next corner, the top stacks, and a Cubs stack going against Jeff Hoffman is one that's going to be popular today. They get 6.4 implied runs for them, which is a slate high, and with the wind blowing out at Wrigley, it's going to make Hoffman's 13.3 hits per nine allowed appealing, especially with the Cubs having a 200 ISO versus right-hand pitching. Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo require premium pay-up prices, but Kyle Schwarber is also expected to be a top-owned option today at a decent price hitting leadoff. I'll talk about one other guy I like a lot also as a one-off today, but this Cubs stack does look appealing, even though I might be more inclined to go to mini stacks here in the hopes to capture the production, just to differentiate from what should be a very chalky lineup. A Boston stack versus Glenn Sparkman should also find some interest today with 5.7 implied runs for them. Sparkman limits home runs decently with a 2.6% rate, but a 6 Ks per nine, 7.8% swing strike rate also show a dangerous inability to miss bats. Kansas City's park factors are number 2 for generating runs on the year, so with Christian Vasquez, the only Boston hitter underneath a 97 WRC plus, going against right-hand pitching, there are multiple ways to stack them up to capture the output here. Going into a Royals park, which is allowing a lot of run production, I think it's a nice spot to get to Boston if you can afford them. And a Texas stack versus Dylan Bundy should also find some ownership today with 5.6 implied runs in their favor. The weather's heating up in Texas, which can be a problem for Bundy given that Texas is a 209 ISO versus right-hand pitching. Bundy has missed bats well with a 13.3% swing strike rate and 9.2 Ks per nine, which could make him interesting leverage if Texas does get pretty chalky. But Texas's lefty-heavy lineup could cause issues for Bundy with a much worse 1.7 whip and 7.3 Ks per nine allowed compared to a 1.1 whip and 11.4 Ks per nine versus righties. The team total, the weather all seem to favor Texas, but I do think if they have a lineup that has more righties in there, it is a spot where I'd be willing to leverage and go to Bundy. But overall, this lineup does seem like one that can get some production today, so I'm willing to have both sides of the equation here, even if I do think Bundy may be a sneaky, interesting leverage play. On to our next corner, the lower-owned option on today's slate, and a Tampa Bay stack going against Ryan Carpenter is one of those teams. They get 5.3 implied runs in their favor. Carpenter allows 10.4 hits per nine, as well as a 42% hard contact and a 6.8% home run rate, while also he shows no ability to miss bats with a 7.5% swing strike rate. Tampa Bay's hitters can strike out versus the left-hand pitcher with a 30% rate on the year. The positive hitting factors in Detroit and a poor pitcher could be a solid spot to target for righties like Avisail Garcia in particular. I like Tampa Bay a good amount when they're low-owned. I think the spot here on the road should be one they should be able to take advantage of because Carpenter really hasn't shown a lot, and Tampa Bay's guys can get it done, even though the strikeout rate is a bit worrisome. Blake Snell at the trade's also one of the more obvious lower-owned guys today. Gets 3.2 implied runs against him, and Snell's had issues recently, but his 19.1% swing strike rate at 12.1 Ks per nine on the year can tear through Detroit. Nick Castellanos and Miguel Cabrera are scary parts of the lineup with both guys over a 147 WRC plus versus left-hand pitching, but Detroit strikes out at a 26.4% rate versus lefties on the year, and Snell can strike out anybody, so you're trusting the talent here. Detroit has some guys that could be worrisome, and I think Snell's got enough talent here. The fact he's going to be lower owned than some of these other guys here up top who may be a little bit more fungible, a little bit easier to blow up here, could make Snell an interesting play and a guy with really big upside as well. And Atlanta stack versus Steven Brault also interests me with 5 implied runs for them. Atlanta's smacked around left-hand pitching on the year with a 209 ISO, while Brault's 1.6 whip and 8.9% swing strike rate will give them a shot to produce. I've mentioned it a few times, but Pittsburgh's been an under-the-radar top hitting park on the year, while Atlanta projects for just 5% ownership despite decent prices. There's a lot of guys I like here. One guy I'll talk about later in the one-off section, but Atlanta's well priced. They can hit it, and I think being in a positive hitting park that people don't realize is a positive hitting park will be a situation that benefits them well today versus Brault. And Chase Anderson versus Miami is a cheaper pitcher who I like today. 3.8 implied runs going against him, and Anderson's got 9.4 Ks per nine on the year, as well as an 11.1% swing strike rate, which makes him a decent value on a slate lacking in cheap pitching. Curtis Granderson offers some worrisome lefty power that'll be helped by Milwaukee's park, but Miami's 74 WRC plus and 105 ISO makes Anderson a viable paydown option here. I think alongside Devin Smeltzer is an interesting option going against a Cleveland team who's mostly stunk on the year. I think those two guys are guys who you could pay down for a bit, hopefully give you some upside in terms of strikeouts. I think that's what I'm looking forward to do today with some of my lineups. Now on to our last corner, the one-offs, and Austin Riley going against Steven Brault's one that I like a lot. Riley's obliterated left-hand pitching in a limited sample size with a 389 batting average, 833 ISO, and a 310 WRC plus. And now he's going against an iffy pitcher in Brault in a Pittsburgh hitting park that again offers boosts across the board. I like Atlanta a lot, but Riley's been really, really good versus left-hand pitching in a way which I want to get him in some lineups tonight in the hopes that he does have that big outlier day. Luke Voit versus Clayton Richard is also a one-off that interests me today, with Richard mostly keeping balls down with a 32% fly ball rate, but Toronto has been the top home run park on the year, with Voit bringing a 9.4% home run rate and 106 at-bats versus left-hand pitching. This is a good spot to go to Voit here, a guy who has shown some downsides recently. I think he's due for some positive regression here in a spot versus Richard, a guy who can give up production to righty hitters. It does seem like a nice spot for Voit to get back on track. And Javi Baez is the last of the one-offs I'll shout out today, going against Jeff Hoffman. Hoffman allows a 3.7% home run rate to righties compared to a 1.8% rate versus lefties, while Baez's 252 ISO was tops on the Cubs lineup in a game with the wind blowing out and the highest Vega total on the slate. Again, his full stack here is a move, but I think going one-offs and mini stacks may be a way to capture that production without having a bunch of the chalky players in your lineup. So I think Baez as a one-off and as part of stacks is a move I'm going to be probably going to a lot today. So there are my thoughts on today's slate. So please like this video and comment your double dong pick down below. As I mentioned earlier in the video and yesterday, you'll now be getting a special free month of Osmo Plus, our new Osmo.com premium membership. If you get that right and you're the only person who gets a double dong right, if there's multiples of you, I'll pick one of you at random. But right now, like the video, comment your double dong pick. You guys have been really great supporting me as a community, so let's keep it going. Let's keep the views up, keep the likes up. So like the video and comment your double dong pick for your chance to win that free month of Osmo Plus right now. But hey, you don't just have to win it. Use that promo code Switch and Hedge for half off your first month of any Osmo.com membership. The new Osmo Plus is where it's all at right now. All the ownership projections, the rankings, the deep dive column every day, the lineup builder, the top stacks tool. There's a lot of things that'll help you make better MLB DFS lineups every single day. So use that promo code Switch and Hedge to get that first month of Osmo Plus for half off. I'll be back later today on Live Before Locks. Subscribe, hit that notification bell to know when we go live. You can also follow me on Twitter at Chris Spags or Instagram too. I'm everything. I'm Chris Spags and everything. Go follow all the stuff. Give me some love here, guys. But yeah, go check that out. I'll be back later today. And of course, I'll be back tomorrow with another Four Corners video. So good luck.